Hi, besties! Welcome back to Tea and Takes with your host, Simi. I hope you've been doing fabulously. This month has been a bit challenging. I had some health brouhaha. However, I'm much better now, and I hope your month has been going better than mine. Anyways, I have a question from a friend, and she gave me permission to share it on the podcast and give my take on it. So that's what we're going to be doing. So her question goes, do you think friendships are easier if the two parties involved are similar? She was saying, are friendships made for people who are similar? And then she sent a voice note where she was sort of describing in more detail to me that, for example, if two people where one friend is like the type that likes to go out, likes to party, be in the clubs, and the other person really likes to be indoors, are those two people not meant to be friends? Because like one person will feel like, oh, you always don't want to go out because that's their preferred way to do friendships. Or she'll give another example of one party likes calls and the other person likes to text. Therefore, when the person who likes calling is calling, the other person is not responding. And then the person who prefers to text, when they send text, the person who text is not their preferred form of communication. There are lags. And then and I thought this is a fabulous question. And I am the perfect person to ask this question to, because amongst the gifts that I have, when people are saying like their talents, I think that a talent that is not talked about that I think I have is that I know how to make friends with strangers very quickly. So I'm very friendly and I enjoy meeting people. And unless you're like a weirdo who just intentionally wants to be snobby, I make friends like in 0.0 seconds. I think I have a warm personality and I'm genuinely interested in people. I think that my baseline for when I first meet someone is like, oh, you're fabulous. You have to now show me that you're not for you to go down. So I start with like 100% and then I go back down. So because of that, I might meet you in like 15 minutes and then like we're talking like we've known each other forever. It then leads to this circumstance where some people want to extend that into a full-blown friendship, which beautiful, lovely. The more friends, the merrier, right? However, I have to be the discerner to then determine a lot of times that this person, although they want to be friends and they are cool people, I can tell that for whatever reason, because of me, because of them, because of something in both of us that is too different, I know that this friendship will not work long term, and I can't be setting myself up for multiple friendship breakups. So I then have to be the person who sets a boundary and sort of intentionally makes us not get closer. Hopefully that made sense. So yeah, sometimes I purposely put things in place so that I don't get close to certain people because I can tell already the end from the beginning. So that's why I said I'm the perfect person to speak about this. My friendship rule, or what I think generally works from my observation of myself and other people, in terms of compatibility in friendships, is ideals should be similar. Like, you shouldn't be friends. You should not, like, you can't be surface level friendship, like, oh, just like kiki, or like say hi and hug when you see each other. Like, that is fine. But friendship, like the deep kind, the rely on each other type, I think that basic ideals should be similar. So, there is one area of caveat to that ideal that I think that sometimes works, but even that has a caveat, is religion. I think that two people from different religions can be very good friends, and I have some very good friends who are not my religion or don't even believe in any religion at all. However, there is still a caveat to that. There is something else that must be in place if there are two people with different religions for it to work out. So that's sort of caveat for religion is that they must not be fanatics. They must not be fanatics. So, for example, I'm a Christian, and a lot of my friendships with certain people, including my lovely friend who asked this question, a huge part of our friendship is because we're both Christians, and we talk about like our relationship with God. We love to read the Bible, and we love to discuss what we read about. However, I'm thinking about my friends who are Muslims or who are who do not agnostic or atheist. The similar ground we both have, including myself, is that we are not extremists. I'm a Christian, but I'm not an extremist. I believe in humanity first before any religion. I am never going to support, hurting or harming people in the name of my religion. I'm never going to support traumatizing people in the name of my religion. I'm not going to support a crazy thing just because it's a pastor that did it. Like, I do not I don't leave my brain aside in my pursuit of my faith. And so the similar ground, and I'm not also insensitive to others who do not believe similar things to me. I also do not feel any need to push down the throat of anybody my faith. I think that all of those things have to exist for interfaith friendships to work. It means that even your friend that's agnostic or atheist should not be going on and on and be like, oh, you're believing God is this. Like, nah, that's not the person to have that conversation with. That's disrespectful to them. Do you understand? Like, so my friends who are of other religions as well, they don't go around like saying things that I don't know. However, If the person's really, if the person is like, if the person of the other religion or that has another belief system, maybe they don't believe in religion at all or in any god, if they have an extremist belief in that thing, I'm sorry, it cannot work. So if you're a Christian and you think that you're extremist, you believe that no pastors should be this thing, you believe you must go to church every Sunday, you believe like, yeah, you know, I feel like when you're an extremist, you know you're an extremist. If you're an extremist in your religion, I think that you should not do anybody of another religion the disservice of being their friend. Just look for friends that are fellow extremists like you. I'm not going to contribute on whether it's good or bad. That's everybody's business. So yeah, now into the other types of ideals. I think that if your priority ideals, like what makes you the creme de la creme of you, is very, very different, I doubt that you can be close friends. One example, okay, no, I still want to speak on the areas that might be different. Okay, so I think I'll split places like that. Places you can be different and still be friends, and places you can be similar and still be friends. So yeah, no, places you can't, yes. So areas you can be different and still be friends is like, I am extroverted, you are introverted. I think that people like extroverts can be good friends with introverts. In fact, practically all my friends are introverts, like very, very, very introverted introverts. And for whatever reason, it just works. I don't know why that dynamic works, but it works. But do you know a portion of difference that might not work in the extrovert to introvert thing? I have studied, and it has been 100% sure, is outside and inside. If you're an extrovert, but you like to be indoor, and you have another introvert, but the introvert likes to be outdoors, I'm sorry, it cannot work. I don't know why. I have seen inside and outside doesn't work. So if you're a person that likes to stay indoors, you're a homebody, you get your energy from staying in your house or being on your own or whatever. I have not seen it work where you can then be very good friends with somebody who like their idea of fun, their idea of peace, anything distressing is going outside, and of course spending their time with their friends outside. Honestly, maybe you can prove me wrong in the comments and let me know if that has ever worked, but I've never seen that work. And so in that example she gave, I wouldn't recommend someone. Honestly, maybe I see if once I meet friends and even relationships, actually, when I meet people who like to go out a lot, that's actually the number one thing where I would just be like, yeah, we're just gonna be friends. We could be surface level, like hangout friends, kiki a lot, but we're never gonna be super deep layer, like best friends. Nah. Even relationships, I have left a relationship before because the person was too outside, like they wanted to be out all the time, they wanted to be out into late hours of the night, and I'm a homebody. I like to be at home. I don't like to be among many people all the time. Like, I'm friendly when the need is and when there are people around, but I don't go out and invite people into my spaces when circumstances present itself. Do you understand? So you would never see me like invite people into my home intentionally just for no reason, or try to throw a party. And this, when I meet people that they want to go out all the time, and they're like, oh, the night is still young. When you're already gone for, when you're already exhausted, nah, my social battery has died, 2 hours ago, and you still want to party? Nah, you are stressing me out. Meanwhile, this thing you're doing is energizing and probably distressing you. How do you understand? I think that it's literally a nervous system situation. It's a nervous system incompatibility. Because most of the people who like to stay at home, their energy is replenished from being at home. And when they go out, that's why they say social battery died, meaning that outside is literally depleting their energy. However, the people who like to be outdoors all the time, outdoors is where they replenish their energy. So that's why they always want to go to, place 1 and place 2 and place 3 and place 4 all in one day. Oh my God. Or in one evening, they want to go to 5, like, I don't know, bars or wherever, and they like the socializing or just being amongst the many people, because they are replenishing their energy there. When they want to distress, their thought is to go out. Meanwhile, when you want to distress, your bed is where you want to be, watching a movie cuddled up. So yeah, I think that when there is that mismatch, it means that what the other person enjoys or what distresses the other person literally stresses out the other person. So I think that is the quickest way for resentment to build, because no, like when I'm outside and you're taking me from place to place, and I don't like to be out, it is stressing me out. I am highly stressed, and so I'm associating the thought of you to stress. And then the other person who likes to go out with a friend, because that's how they replenish their energy and distress, they also associate you with, they're resentful of the fact that, like, oh, every time I say I want to go out, which is I want to replenish my energy and replenish my battery, you're telling me you don't want to go. So it's just a battlefield for resentment. I think that I wouldn't recommend that. However, let's then say the parts where it could be different, but it could work. Like, it could, in fact, it very much works most of the time. I would say the texting thing and the calling thing. I think that communication is the general standpoint, right? All you want to do when you call or text is communicate. You understand? You want to stay in touch with the person, because like then you can feel loved and your love can strengthen. So I think the most important thing should just be sort of figuring out, like, if I like to okay, the caveat in this thing too, I just thought of a part. The caveat in this thing is also offense. I think with the communication part, with the calling and texting, the caveat is offense. So I am able to have good friends with people that I might not be the same, I might not have the same texting or calling routine. We might not have the exact same communication. Maybe they are excellent texters, they respond to your text in 0.05 seconds, and maybe me, I'm a caller in because I think that I'm not a one-way person. With some people, I'm better. I'm a better caller. With some other people, I'm a better texter. Either ways, with both communication lines, I'm better with friends who don't get offended or they do not ascribe negativity to my. But I don't do neither. I think that that's the problem. If the person is neither texting or calling and they just no way and they're not even trying to be apologetic about it, I don't know. I think that that might be stressful and you might need to revisit. But I think that if one party prefers to call and the other person prefers to text, the caller must not get offended at the texter to say like, oh, I called you, you didn't pick my call or return it, like not be getting offended like at every time, like, oh, I just called you 5 minutes ago, or like, why didn't you text, and the person who prefers to text and it must not start getting offended like, oh, I sent you a text since, why didn't you respond to my text? Yeah, I think that if that offense is there, that would not work. But if it's like people that are just like lighthearted and they don't like deep things, they just like keep you pushing, then I think that would, yeah, it would just be fine. Like, oh yeah, get to the text whenever the text is, but I think that there has to be like a modicum of central ground. And honestly, as somebody who's just sometimes bad at both, I realized that with each person I just form my distance. So I have friends that I have told like, oh, let's send voice notes. So like they send voice notes of like what is going on in their lives. They know that immediately I have the time, I'll get to it, and within a day usually I'll get to it. And if they call me, I'll return it. I've had friends that we have set times of the days that we know that we will both be free, that will talk. So we're like, oh, Sundays 1 p.m, let's try to have, and we literally put it in our calendars. So yeah, I think that communication is the baseline. If your preference is one or the other, if you're not going to get offended and you're not going to ascribe negativity to that, then I think that is chill. You can find other means, meet in the middle. Yeah. But I think that if fundamentally your belief systems don't align, maybe one person believes in very misogynistic things, or one person believes in the subjugation of women, or they believe that those are the places I've seen that friendships do not work. If your belief system doesn't align, like this person believes like, oh, you should beat women, you must correct them, all of these things, or somebody believes like some crazy like political thing, like, oh yeah, I believe in like genocide, or like the eradication of a certain human race, or just like very extreme things, like they are insensitive, or they are like wicked, or they believe in just like very inhumane, weird things, or they believe in like, I don't know, just think of every bad thing you can think of, and you don't believe in that. I think that that's not a friendship that would work. That's not a friendship that would work. I'm trying to think of small other areas to impute that I've seen. I'm trying to think through friendships that I have that have ended and what I think ended them in terms of differences. Do you know a small part that is not often talked about is if one person believes in morality, if one party believes in morality that is not very firm and another believes in more firm morality, I think that those friendships tend to not last. What do I mean? Maybe one person believes in things like cheating. Oh yeah, it's not a big deal to cheat. Oh, it's okay for me to like sleep around with many people. I'm not saying that these things are wrong, like legalistically. Do you understand? But imagine maybe one person is like literally like a sex worker. Do you understand? And the other person, like, I don't know, works in corporate. That's a morality. That's a good example of morality. Like maybe one person is literally an escort, like a sex worker, and the other person is literally like, I don't know, an investment banker in one of the biggest firms in the world. I think that's just and that investment banker, because yeah, investment bankers can have a side job as an SW too. But let's just say that investment banker does not believe in doing SW, and they are even very strict in their relations with men or women, whatever the case may be in this gender. So they are very strict and they don't take nonsense, and they are very disciplined in their interactions with the other sex. I think that friendship, no matter how this thing would not work. And maybe that's an extremity, but let me give a more similar example of a friendship I had that didn't work. And in my case, I'm pretty strict with relationships, dating, right? Meaning that I don't allow for like cheating. If there's any form of like cheating or weird what will I call it now? Disinterest, or anything you do that to me signals that you must not love me to have done that, I dip. Do you understand? Because I believe that if you cheat on someone, you do not love them, or you do not care about their well-being. And when I'm giving my friends who text or call me for advice on relationships, that's the kind of advice I would give, right? If you text me to say, oh, this person, I'll be like, oh, what did this person do? Not in words, in what they're saying, like, oh, I care about you, I love you. Like in action, did they show that they truly cared? And if they literally with the action were saying that they hate you, I would say, oh, leave. However, at the time, a huge portion of the time I had been friends with this person, I had been single, and they were in up and down, on and off relationships. And I would always give them the same advice that I live on, right? And say like, oh, don't, I think that this is this is not this, but they wouldn't listen, or they would listen and then go back, and then they would do the block, unblock, and all of that. And that's another thing too. Another area was that I don't drink. I don't drink. I don't smoke. In fact, I detest anything drug related. Like that one, I would absolutely. I don't judge for anything in this life. But if it's drugs and your attempts to try it or any trivializing of it, I don't joke with that. Like, and I don't do any of that. I don't have any over this thing about drinking. I just don't drink, and I know that I would not want a partner that also drinks. But aside from that, if you're drinking around me, I'm never going to like judge you or be weird to you. Even like my energy is always so high that it almost looks like I drink when I'm around people, but like I don't. So small things like that with this friend. And what ended up happening was that there was a build of resentment, little by little by little by little. When the person truly sees like, oh, we really go to a gathering and everyone is drinking and I'm genuinely having fun, but every time you attempt to give me a drink, I say no. I could see that they were really like, oh, so you're just not going to drink. Like they were annoyed at it, like it irritated them for some reason. I think that my conclusion in this is that people feel like when you just take a morality clause that is just because you prefer that has made your own life peaceful. They feel like your life is a judgment of theirs, even if you never state an opinion, even if your body language, nothing ever states that you're judging them, and you genuinely are just like loving them for the other parts of them that are similar to you. I think that your entire ideal and life feels like it is judging them even if it's not, and so they begin to resent you, and they cannot hide that resentment. So I remember that with this person, I then got into a relationship while I was friends with them, and the relationship went on and on and on, and of course as my friend, the person knew how it was going, and then at some point the guy in question messed up, and so I told this person like, oh, this person has done this thing, and of course this is the type of thing that if any of the person's own partners had also done, I would have been like, this thing is not the type of thing that somebody who loves you would do. And of course, with my beliefs, I ended it. And I stayed away from this person. I think that seeing me really leave what I had always advised made this person like triggered. Like they didn't like it. Like their resentment like went up 1,000, like 1,000,000,000 times up. The resentment was really, really obvious. So yeah, I think I learned then that if somebody's moral standpoints about a lot of things are not similar to mine, I just don't bother, because I know that sooner or later, even though my interactions with most people are never I never judge anybody. I never ever judge. I'm not a judgmental person, but they soon begin to feel judged just because my life is different from theirs, and people typically classify some things that I do in my life as moral. And so yeah, if you think that you like to be disciplined, you like to, and it's even applies to things that might not necessarily be moral. So maybe it's like, might be hard work. Maybe you're a go-getter and you typically tend to like lock in and go for the things you want. If you want a job, if you want to pass an exam, if you want to do anything, you lock in, you study, you pass. Do you understand? Like you go for that thing all out, and you usually get it. Sometimes if you now become friends with somebody who's not like that, if they give excuses, they might be indisciplined, it doesn't mean they're a bad person. They might be great in every other thing, and you guys might align in every other thing. But usually, if they're not that way in this thing, sometimes they begin to resent you. They begin to resent the fact like, oh, why are you just disciplined? But I don't know, people are weird. But I found out that most of the time, they begin to resent you. They begin to throw jabs at you. They begin to try to diminish the things you have achieved or you have accomplished. They feel they need to humble you. So yeah, sometimes it might be good to also go with people who are go-getters like you, who or who are flexible too. If you might, it's great to be flexible and sometimes work hard, sometimes chill. It's beautiful to be friends with them too, but like if that exists and some other incompatibility things, I think it might just be a good idea to like deep. So I think that's my take on this, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, bye bye.